Hi there and welcome to Forbidden Planet TV, and on today's episode I am very thrilled to be joined by Adalyn Grace. Hey, how's it going?
Good, I'm excited to be here.
Good. This is like one of my faves of the year. I adored Belladonna and FOXGLOVE. Is amazing. So
thank you.
Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, yes, happy to be here. Thank you very much.
So For anyone out there who hasn't yet discovered either Belladonna or hasn't got FOXGLOVE yet, what can you kind of tell us without too many spoilers?
Okay, I always pitch the book pretty much the same way, which is like a Gothic Bridgerton meets Knives Out. Okay. It is about a girl named Signa who can see spirits and who has to team up with Death himself to solve a mystery in an eerie Gothic manner. And then FOXGLOVE is the sequel. This one is a little bit harder to pitch without spoiling it, but I'll say it's kind of like if you like the sibling rivalry in the Vampire Diaries, kind of like Stefan versus Damon, but instead of Stefan, it's like Klaus versus Damon.
Oh, wow, okay. You went there. So you've moved from seafaring to death. So where do your ideas come from?
All over the place. Like if I'm listening to a certain song, I might get an idea, or I was just at Trinity College the other day in Dublin and had a new idea. So it's kind of just from exploring or listening, but really they can come from anywhere.
And do you do the I know obviously it's I suppose it's become like more trendy now to have like playlists to go along with your book. Do you have like playlists for both books?
I'm really behind in the music world. I like to listen to music while I write. I can't listen to anything with lyrics, but I do a lot of like composers. Okay. So for this series, it was Peter Gundry, and I listened to so much Peter Gundry that I named a character after him. It's called Gundry, and I tagged the composer on Instagram and was like just telling him about it. I guess I didn't expect him to actually like respond to me or follow me, and what I didn't say is that the dog is who is named after him.
I mean, that's quite sweet though. I wouldn't mind having like a pet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we'll ever read it, but it'll be a nice surprise if he does.
Hey, there you go. And how do you find like your experience of like working in, because you worked in, was it live theatre previous? How does that kind of influence your writing kind of style and process?
Yeah, so I tried a bunch of different things before I settled on writing books and figuring out that was like my main passion. I tried writing for newspapers, I studied theater, I worked in animation for a while, studying like screenplays and production, and I feel like they all kind of do have some sort of influence, but along the way everything just made me love the written word and having like full control over the stories I tell. But for Belladonna in particular, it was very heavily inspired by the Secret Garden musical. I've actually not read the book, but I have watched the musical extensively because I used to work on the show. And yeah, you'll see a lot of nods to the musical version in the books, specifically Belladonna, not so much in FOXGLOVE.
Yeah. Oh, that's quite interesting. Do you ever miss the theatre?
Oh my gosh, all the time. Yeah, I love to just watch the shows. I would like to just like, if I could watch one at least a week, I would love that. But yeah, I mean, I used to do 8 shows a week, so it's very difficult to like not be in that space as much anymore. But I recently went to New York and I got to see Sweeney Todd on Broadway, and it was the best experience. I miss it so much.
Oh wow, okay. I can imagine that would be very cool to watch. Years ago, I managed to get tickets for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest when Christian Slater was in it, and it was just like mind blown for the whole experience. So yeah, it's very cool when you get to kind of do those things. So we have to talk about the gorgeous, obviously, cover art that we have for both the books, and I suppose we can do a little reveal for what's under the jacket, because it's stunning.
Okay. So this is for the first edition only. We still have a couple with the foil left, and I think it's just absolutely beautiful. It might be hard to see on the camera, but there's a little fox and a teacup, the birds, and some foxgloves all around. I think it's just so pretty. I mean, the whole book is so pretty. The covers I've lucked out on completely, and Belladonna's as well. This is for the paperback, we did a dark version where the hardcover has like a beautiful pink version. I feel like every version of them is just so gorgeous. I've totally lucked out.
And I hear you're quite involved in the process of like your covers and kind of
probably more than anyone wants me to be. For sure, the U.S. covers, every foreign edition, I am obnoxious. I will like get on Photoshop and stuff and like try making little tweaks and be like, well, what if we did this? What if we did this? Which I'm sure nobody loves, but it makes me feel better.
Yes. Yeah, you're in control. That's
I like to pretend. Yeah.
So the titles of both the books, obviously, we're kind of touching on. It's not too much of a spoiler, like the kind of the different poisons and things are used. So where did the research start for you? Because it's such an interesting, like, with Belladonna, like how she's able to summon death at first. Mm-hmm. Like it's just such a like, wow, okay, I haven't read anything like this before. So where did all that kind of research start for you?
I promise I don't like walk around the streets with an encyclopedic knowledge of poisonous plants. Yeah, I did have to do a lot of research for it. I don't know how I came up necessarily with the idea to use the belladonna berries. It just kind of happened. I think I needed a poison, and this was a lot more aesthetic than like carrying around a jar of like arsenic or something. So I just wanted something that was easier, that felt, kind of toxic but pretty as well, like not just this like vial of something. But I had the berry, and then for some reason the title was actually really difficult for me to come up with, and I don't know why, because it seems so obvious. But it wasn't until I was listening to, speaking of musical theater, to Hadestown, and there's a song that Hades sings where he says, and his belladonna kiss, beautiful, deadly. And I was like, wait a second, I have belladonna in my book. Belladonna! And I came up with the title, and it was so much harder than I think it should have been.
Did you find the second one was easier to...
So much easier. Yeah, because we already had, the title established, like what kind of theme we were going to be following. And then with Foxglove, it's another poisonous plant. It's also a location that is mentioned in the first book that we get to kind of explore a little bit more into in detail in Foxglove. And then the third one was also very easy for similar reasons. The third one's called Wisteria.
Ah, yes, yeah. They go together so well. So.
Thank you.
So we have to obviously talk about Signa, because just the most like kick-ass of characters. I absolutely adore Signa. So did she kind of come to you fully formed, or was it something that you were kind of, I don't know, grabbing bits and pieces from everywhere and she comes into being?
Yeah, characters are always kind of what come into my mind last. Like, it's always the situation, the setting, the world, things like that. And then the characters. I always knew that there was going to be death. I knew that there was going to be the girl who falls in love with death. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of wanted to just explore more into, growing up, I feel a lot of people, me included, like feel like they're kind of like the black sheep or the outcast, or if they just change this one thing about themselves or they behave a certain way, then they'll suddenly like be accepted into the world and everybody will view them differently. And I feel like Signa as a character very much kind of embodies that and believes that if she behaves this one way, then suddenly like the world is going to be great for her and she'll have a whole new life. And realizing through that process that actually doing those things isn't what she wants. It doesn't make her feel good. It's self-discovery. And she was a very fun character for me to write. She's very curious. She is just very interested in everything that is going on in the world around her. A sleuth character is a lot of fun. And I had a good time just playing with her relationship with death, and as he's pushing her more towards like the darkness that she kind of gravitates toward, and her fighting against that was just a lot of fun. And
I think I either saw an interview with you or read something once where you were saying about you being a bit of a weird kid growing up. So is there like a element of Signa that's you?
Oh, probably, for sure. Yeah, we're talking a lot about musical theater today, but I was totally that kid that like on vacation at like the beach, my relaxing music with Sweeney Todd, and I was just like, having a great time listening to the church bells screeching in my ear.
Yeah, very relaxing.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I think obviously coming to work here, I've been here a few years, but we're kind of Forbidden Planet. We were all the weird kids of our different families and stuff. So it's quite nice that you can all be weird together. So
it's much more like acceptable now too. Yeah,
to be a geek is quite cool.
Yeah.
To be, like, weird.
Well, especially I feel like during 2020, like when Pokemon cards like surge and everything, and manga and bookstores just like blew up. Like it's cool to be a nerd now. Like we're so cool.
Oh yeah, and gaming especially. Like everyone's playing Animal Crossing. Yeah. It's the thing. We're the cool kids now. Who knew? We're the jocks.
Who knew? Who knew?
So talking of Death, he's pretty hot character right there. Who's going to play Death in the film adaptation?
I feel like it would come down to voice, and I would very happily, twist my arm, sit in the casting room as they are trying to decide that, and just listen to people talk, because so much of his character is just going to be voice for the majority of any adaptation. But, Ben Barnes has a good voice. Who else? There's lots of people with pretty good voices. So yeah, maybe Ben Barnes. If you're listening to this, Ben Barnes, there's a role available for you.
And what line would you have him read to like seal the deal? Like, what's your number one Death quote?
I think it's got to be like "Hello, little bird." I think we have to for sure hear that one, and then maybe some like banter with Signa.
Yeah. Oh my god, too good. And you've actually kind of, I suppose, with these books, kind of coined a new phrase of like, is it Gothic infused? So it's not quite Gothic, but it kind of is, but it's also a little bit scary, but not too scary. So, yeah, how did you kind of come up with that? Or is it like a, I don't know, is that going to be the new genre? You know, the house horror? Spore-based horror is a new genre. So we can now have Gothic infused. You can have your own section bookstore.
That would be lovely. But yeah, I think that's why I had so much fun writing it, because it didn't have to be like just this firm like high fantasy or just this like strict Gothic romance. Like I could do a bunch of like different things with it and add the historical elements. And I say historical loosely, so like historians don't come after me, because a lot of it is me cheating. But it's can I also say like historic infused? Historic infused.
Yes, because you're aware of a time period.
Yeah,
but it's not.
It's inspired by the Victorian era, but I do cheat in all my books. I think that I will never write anything that is like totally factually correct historically. I'm gonna like borrow pieces and cheat.
Yeah, no fun. And the best trope, the love triangle. Oh my god, too good. How did you come up with the character of Silas in Belladonna?
Yeah, Silas was an interesting character. I wanted somebody who could introduce Signa to this other world around her, because she has that sort of like dark side and dark connection with death, and then somebody who she felt that she could open up to, who is an entirely different side of the world. And she's also trying to be part of, high society, and Silas is not part of high society. So it's just more of her questioning everything that she thought she wanted, and her trying to figure that out and to balance those different wants.
You know Death's going to win, though. So, just looking, I think I remember something about, so you're from the same area as Stephanie Meyer, right?
Yes.
So, where's your vampire novel?
Oh, believe me, I have several ideas. But yeah, I mean, I got to watch her career just absolutely blow up. It was amazing. I was very young, probably about 11 or so when Twilight came out. And I went to her very first like signings in a very small bookstore where everybody was like huddled together, to over the years watching it like multi-story auditoriums just absolutely blow up. And I was like, oh, like this is a job that people have. Like I was super into writing at the time. I used to write on Neopets on the role play boards. And I was like, oh, like I could turn this into, like, look what she's doing. People are over there arguing about different characters and how to pronounce the name Carlisle, and I would like people to argue about my writing.
So, because I think a lot of authors kind of started within fan fiction or something within, so... Yeah, Neopets.
It was close. Yeah, I used to write about wolves on Neopets, and the wolves turned into vampires and gifted boarding schools, and not quite fan fiction, but like pretty. It's like a little, like a sibling to fan fiction.
Yeah, a cousin.
Yeah.
So coming to the end of our interview today, so a couple more questions. So, what do you think you would have been if you hadn't become an author? Because you've obviously tried a few different kind of jobs and things like that.
Yeah, I probably would have still been in something with like television or film, something on the production side of it, I imagine. I still kind of have like a foot in that door, and I love that space very much, and definitely want to continue in that space as well. But yeah, if I wasn't writing books, I would probably be like solidly in that space.
Yeah. Because I could definitely see this being like a Six of Crows kind of mini-series.
Oh, I'd love that, yeah.
Oh my god. just funny. So, to finish the interview today, so we always have the question, kind of, what are you currently reading, watching, and playing?
Ooh, okay. Everything. I always, like, it's so funny because when we get asked these questions, I was like, what's a book? What's a show? But I actually think I have it. Okay. I'm reading To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods, which is a book that it's an adult fantasy that's not out yet. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm just probably about like 50 pages into it. It comes out next year. One that is out that I have recently read is oh my goodness, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, and I loved that one so much. What am I playing? I have been playing, I started right before I came here. I started Baldur's Gate, which I haven't gotten very far into it yet, but I am loving that so much. I also have been playing a lot of Rune Factory. Do you know Rune Factory?
Yes.
It's so fun. And then what am I watching? I just started Killing Eve and Breaking Bad for the first time.
Oh, wow, okay, yeah. There is, I know you said you got a day that you might be able to explore London. There is a Breaking Bad themed coffee shop near Chiswick.
Oh, is it safe?
I've only ever been in, but I was thinking, interesting.
So yeah, look what they sell.
If you're in that neck of the woods, you could go to the Breaking Bad coffee
shop. That's good to know.
A weird one. And to finish off, you're huge into anime.
Yes.
What anime should everyone be checking out?
Oh my gosh. Okay. It really depends on what you're into. Spy Family, I think, is perfect for everybody, every age. It's just so wholesome, but very charming and very funny, whether you're like an adult or a kid. If you want something a little darker, a little bit more action, Jujutsu Kaisen is really great. And if you want something that is just like classic, amazing, known to be one of the best animes of all time, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Although I will say, if you've not seen it, I would start with Full Metal Alchemist, which is just the first anime before they did it before the manga was finished, so the ending is horrendous. So stop after the Hughes arc and then move over to Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and watch it all.
Oh wow, okay. That's like, we need more downtime. We were talking on previous FPTV about having like 4-day weeks, so you can have a day to catch up on all the stuff you missed.
Yeah, just watch the anime.
Anime day. Why not? But yeah, thank you so much for joining us today and for signing all these wonderful copies of both of your books. And yes, there'll be signed copies available on our website and in all 9 of our stores. So head down if you haven't read Belladonna, you really should. And if you have, come pick up the next book. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us, and yeah. Hopefully invite you back when you're next in the UK.
I would love that. Thank you so much, and thank you all.
Thank you. Bye.
If you're enjoying watching Forbidden Planet TV and you're enjoying watching us talk to the world's most interesting and accomplished filmmakers, authors, artists, musicians, creators, subscribe right here. See you soon.